Yes, everyone, how are we doing? And welcome to the post-match reaction to Manchester City 0, Crystal Palace 1. We have lost the FA Cup final. Where do we go from here? Trophyless in the 24-25 season under Pep Guardiola. Something that no one expected, to be honest. Yeah, at the start of the season, you might have anticipated a drop-off. You can't sustain Premier League after Premier League after Premier League after Premier League. 5 in a row was beyond ambitious. 3 in a row was ambitious. 4 in a row was ridiculous. 5 in a row is impossible, as proven this season. But trophyless, well, yeah, where do you go from here? Look, this is going to be a long one. This is why I'm sat down for it. So look, strap yourselves in, make yourselves a brew, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Let's get into discussing yesterday's game. I think it's only right we start off this video by saying congratulations to Crystal Palace on winning the FA Cup, the first ever major trophy. You know, we witnessed history yesterday. Not the history we wanted to witness at all, but we witnessed it, you know, and they deserved it. In certain aspects, the team put up a good fight. Oliver Glasner, a brilliant manager. He came with a game plan and he executed it perfectly. He did exactly what he needed to do to beat this Manchester City side, and they did it. You know, the fans as well, the Crystal Palace fans, obviously a long wait, a good fan base, a proper club. The fans yesterday were unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. You know, some of the best set of fans I've seen in all the City games I've been to. So yeah. You know, it was a big day out for them, a brilliant one for them, and yeah, congratulations. Now look, onto Manchester City, and where do we start? I don't know. I really don't. You know, there's so much I want to talk about. I got down there about 12:30, 1 o'clock. A lot of City fans down there. I saw that Wembley Stadium, a lot of them in fine voice. I went to the Torch pub, seen a lot of people in there. It was packed, full of Blues, singing on the bass. It was a brilliant atmosphere, brilliant energy around the place. Before getting into the ground, I thought, yeah, I was impressed. You know, I'm seeing this a sky blue everywhere. I went in my in the retro 99, as I do to most Wembley games, but it was just to see a sky blue, and it was beautiful to see. And yeah, ahead of it, I was feeling pretty positive. I had in my head that it was going to be the fairy tale ending. I kept banging the drum, said to anyone I spoke about that we're going to win 2-1 and De Bruyne's going to score the winner. 2-1 and De Bruyne's going to score the winner. And it just didn't happen. Just didn't happen. But yeah, anyways, got from the Torch, went to the ground, got inside. I look at my seat, nice little seat. That was row 7, block 112, just under the Kevin De Bruyne flag. That came up. And when I got into the ground, I don't know. There was just a weird energy. I felt there was a little bit of a weird energy in there. I was starting to question myself a little bit. I stuck with my score prediction, but I did feel something in the air that just, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Anyways, I get to my seat and I see the lineup, and I won't lie to you, I was pleased with it because they were just so attacking. And it's all well and good now, which I will get into. I do think we were set up wrong. I think Pep approached it wrong. I think the lineup was wrong. A little bit too ambitious, naive, I think you could call it. But I can't come in here and say, oh, I was saying this ahead of the game, because I wasn't. You're at your seat, you've had a few beers, you're excited for the match, a little bit nervous. You don't think about a game tactically. I mean, I don't anyway. Maybe some other people do. I don't. You have a few beers, you're chilled out, you're getting ready, you're into the match day mood. Kick-off's in half an hour, 40 minutes, whatever. So you don't look at it and think, oh, God, what we need a defensive midfielder. Oh, God, we should really have a right back on the pitch. You don't think like that, man. You're just excited to see so many attacking players on the pitch and think, look, we're going to get a lot of chances. There should be a lot of goals in it. There should be, you know, with all these attackers on the pitch, Marmoush, Haaland, Doku, Savinho, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva. You'd expect goals, not goalless. Wow. So yeah, when I seen it, I'm not going to come in here and say, oh, I thought he's approached it all wrong. I didn't say that. So yeah, at the time I was excited by it, but in hindsight, looking back, it probably was the wrong approach, wasn't it? You know, Crystal Palace are one of the best counter-attacking sides in the Premier League. How fast they are in transitions. The word that Pep Guardiola loves to go on about, transitions. So good in transitions. Why then would you not have a holding midfielder? Now, he did say that Kovacic has picked up an injury and he would have started. And Kovacic lately for City, as I said in my preview for this game, has been absolutely excellent. He's been brilliant. He's been playing some of the best football he's played in a Manchester City shirt. He would have started and could have been a little bit different of a match. We don't know. But if Kovacic doesn't play, you play Nico Gonzalez. I spoke about that in my preview. Spoke about quite a lot, didn't I? But I've made a video on that on my TikTok as well, haven't I? About why is Nico not getting minutes. I said, for dealing with Eze, it annoys me when I'm right about this. It annoys me when I'm right about this kind of thing. I said ahead of the game, we need someone like Nico, someone with his defensive capabilities to manage Eberici Eze. What happened? They ran through the middle of the park because we had nobody there. And who got the goal? Eberici Eze. You know, I felt we really could have done with someone like a Nico Gonzalez to just have a bit of legs, have a bit of, you know, strength in the midfield, have a bit about him, because Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne, the combined age of them is what, nearly 70 years old, and that's two of them against the legs of Eze and Sarr and Adam Wharton in midfield. They've got energy, they've got a bit about them. City's midfield, it was weak. It was a weak and tired midfield. A midfield two of Kevin De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva. So yeah, I felt the approach was a little bit wrong from Pep, but like I said, it's easy saying this now. It could have gone the other way, really. We could have been that attacking, and maybe that was the approach he was trying to take. Outscored them the other week when we played him. It finished 5-2. We scored 5 goals against them, so you don't know. That might have been the way he was trying it. But it could have gone the other way. I could be saying he's a genius. Look at all his attackers. We scored 4 goals. On another day, that could have been the case, but it wasn't to be, and that's why I'm saying now it was wrong. And I don't think it's just me saying that. I've seen a few people saying it, that it was a little bit naive, the approach, to start with no holding midfielder, to start with such few defensive players, just a free. Because Nico O'Reilly, as much as he's a left back, he isn't a left back, is he? He's an attacking midfielder. He's an attacking, forward-thinking player. So, yeah. Anyway, on to the actual game itself. We didn't start brilliant. It was a little bit of a slow start to the game for both teams. The first 10 minutes was two teams that looked a little bit nervous, in my opinion. And then 16th minute, we get hit on a counter-attack. Not the first time I said that this season. We get hit on a counter-attack. It's down our left-hand side, Palace's right. I think it was Munoz put a ball across the box. Was it Sarr maybe? I'm not sure. No, it wasn't Munoz. Put a ball across the box. Nico O'Reilly's man. And it was a Kanji's man in Eberici Eze. Eze beat him to the ball. I'd have liked Stefan Ortega to do a little bit better there. It was a good goal by Palace, well worked. I think City probably should have defended a little bit better. We shouldn't have been so easy to run through. But that's the story of our season, isn't it? It was good. We've conceded so many goals like that. But Palace score, Ortega, it wasn't far corner, it wasn't anything. I think it was within reaching distance. I'd like my goalkeeper to do a little bit better there, but they take the lead, and I wanted to see a reaction from City. Obviously, Palace, it was just, you could feel it, the energy in the Wembley Stadium. They went absolutely mental. The limbs were just, oh, wow. Honestly, it was unbelievable. Now look, 10 minutes later, onto the incident that you all knew I would discuss, as you might have seen in the thumbnail. Not made the thumbnail yet, but I will make sure to put a picture, a still image of that Henderson handball. What on earth was that decision? How can you be a professional referee and watch that replay or watch that live right in front of you and come to the conclusion that that isn't a clear handball outside of the box, that isn't a red card, that isn't a clear denial of a goal-scoring opportunity? That is a clear, that would be a goal-scoring opportunity, a clear goal-scoring opportunity for me. And I play net for a Sunday League side. That is, never mind Erling Haaland, one of the most prolific goal scorers in world football, if not the most prolific goal scorer in world football. You want to say that's not a clear and obvious goal scoring opportunity? Clear denial of a goal scoring opportunity? What were you taking? What were you inhaling? What on earth? I mean, I've seen so many still images, so many slow-mo, so many fast replays. I've seen absolutely every angle of this decision that there is to see. And you've still come to the conclusion that that isn't a handball. Are you mad? Are you mental? I've seen all these pundits, some of them ex-City pundits in Mickey Richards and Les Scott, furious. I've seen Ian Wright, a man who played for Crystal Palace, furious at half-time. I've seen Wayne Rooney, a man who hates Manchester City, very openly. The man who, of course, wanted Palace to win. I've seen him go absolutely ballistic at half-time. Seen him go absolutely mental, saying scrap VAR, the referees, they're just covering over the mates. Do you know what I'm saying? He went absolutely in on them. He said he wanted rid of VAR. And every single word, I can't recite it word for word, but go and watch it on BBC Sport if you're not already, right? Hit the nail on the head. Rooney hit the nail on the head. It's an absolute disgrace. I mean, the FA Cup is one of the most prestigious trophies in Europe. In England, the way we feel about it, all the managers, all the players, we all love the FA Cup. The fans adore the FA Cup because it brings magic moments like, for example, Crystal Palace winning the first ever trophy. Of course, that's not what I wanted at all, in the slightest, but that's what it brings. That's what this trophy brings. Moments like that. It's a beautiful trophy. But it can be ruined by referees' incompetence like that. Could you imagine the reaction, the backlash, the fury from the entire footballing world if that was the other way around? People are fine with it. I mean, obviously, everyone and their grandma is saying that, look, it's a ridiculous decision. How on earth have they come to that decision? It is pathetic. It's shambolic. It's idiotic how the referee can't spot that that's a red card. But, of course, the footballing world will be happy because Crystal Palace won, because Manchester City lost. People are sick of seeing City winning. I understand that. I would be if I wasn't a City fan. Could you imagine, right, that was the other way around? Could you imagine that Stefan Ortega had came out of his box while being 1-0 up and slapped the ball out of the path of Erling Haaland while outside of his box, and the referee, after like a 5-minute VAR check, decided, no, it's not enough. It's not enough for a red card. That's not a denial of a goal scoring opportunity. He wouldn't have had an open net to score, and he wouldn't have had a clear goal to score. How can that be a denial of a goal scoring opportunity? Could you imagine if that decision was given and then Stefan Ortega went on to save a penalty, went on to win man of the match, and then went on to rob Crystal Palace of their first ever trophy in 120 years? Could you imagine the reaction? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, it would be, honestly, there'd be riots. They would add that to the charges. They would claim it as a financial charge one way or another. I don't know how, but whatever the wins of the FA Cup would, they'd probably deduct that and put it as a financial charge. Do you know what I'm saying? They'd be accusing us of cheating and all sorts. Now, I'm not accusing Palace of cheating in any world. Why would I? Not them, is it? Henderson, to be honest, even Henderson, maybe he didn't know. Do you know what I mean? He might not have, he's not going to purposely come out because he's not stupid, he's not thick. All right, he knows that if you punch the ball outside of the box, it's a red card. He's not going to risk that, is it? So he might not have noticed, but he was outside of his box. Every angle shows it. Every pundit said it. Every single person with a working brain says it. And then that referee, by the way, guys, went on to get a medal. That referee needs suspending, not a medal. He needs suspending. He shouldn't referee an FA Cup final again. One of the most prestigious trophies in Europe, a trophy that we all love and adore. And you're making decisions like that? What are you on about? How are you qualified as a referee? That's one of the worst decisions I've seen in football. That in fact, I go as far as to say that is the worst decision I have seen in a Manchester City football match. Never mind for or against. That's the worst decision I have seen in a Manchester City football match. It's an absolute farce. It's a disgrace, and he should be suspended. That medal should be taken off of his neck, and he should be suspended. And I'm sorry. I know it's brutal. I know it's harsh. But that's exactly what it is. He has cost the game there. Yes, City weren't good enough. I've said that 100 times and I'll say 100 more if I need to. City didn't do enough to win. We've not done enough this season to win anything. And that's why we're in the position we are, trophyless and 6th in the Premier League table. But City probably would have won that FA Cup yesterday if that referee was competent. City probably wouldn't have won the FA Cup if Palace had Matt Turner in there and 10 men for 80 minutes of the match. Because that's what it was when it was like 20 odd minutes in and they had 10 minutes additional time because of Henderson's time wasting. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, moving on. I don't ever want to think about that moment again until tonight when it keeps me up. Onto the penalty. Of course, like I said in that little rant there, Henderson went on to save a penalty. And the penalty was taken by Omar Mamouche, which was a surprise. It's a surprise for everyone around me at the time. We're like, Mamouche, you're going, all right, to be fair, Haaland has missed his, a couple this season, but Haaland's our penalty taker. And I've seen Haaland gave Mamouche the penalty. He's received quite a bit of criticism actually off the back of it. And I don't know how to feel. I understand that people are saying, look, he's the main man. He's our top scorer. He's the man on however much a week, 10-year contract, blah, blah, blah. He should be taking that. He should be scoring it, blah, blah, blah. But if he didn't feel up to it at the moment, people are calling him, what are some stuff I've read? But he bottled it about him, his mentality, about him. It's just not feeling up for it. And as much as I get it, he should be our penalty taker. He's our prolific goal scorer. If he wasn't up for it, I'd rather him give the ball to Mamouche not take it. As much as it's all well and good now, yeah. It's all well and good saying now that we've missed. Oh yeah, Haaland should have took it. Why on earth if you give that to Marmoush? But if Haaland would have missed it after missing his last one, and Marmoush, you might have been arguing, look, why did Marmoush not take it? You've seen Haaland miss. Or you might have been saying, if this wouldn't be a conversation topic if Marmoush put the ball in the back of the net, would it? Realistically, would it? You wouldn't be saying it, would you? So I understand why he's received a little bit of backlash because he should be our penalty taker. But if he wasn't up for it, he wasn't up for it, and I'd rather than him be a little bit nervy and end up skying it or putting it wide. I'd rather him just give it to someone that is confident and thinks they can score. Now the penalty itself wasn't great. It seemed pretty obvious, not where Marmoush was going, but from where I was looking, thinking it looked pretty obvious where Henderson was diving. Put it the other way. We've seen so many players in the Premier League just do that, take a little step, and then slot it the opposite way. Why not? Why not? I mean, Savinho even could have had it. Savinho, I've seen him over a penalty, and he's brilliant. But yeah, it's all well and good saying this now. Like I said about us setting up wrong. It's all well and good in hindsight. If Marmoush would have scored, I wouldn't even be having this conversation now. I might not be this annoyed making a video. We might have went on to win. It might have been that fairy tale ending, like I was on about 2-1, De Bruyne last goal. Anyway, it's that we missed a penalty. Get into half time, not ideal. We come out second half, pretty strong. Doku had an opportunity. We had a couple of chances here and there, looking lively for the first 5 minutes, and then once again slowed down. We get lost in the game. Things aren't going our way. Then look, the next incident was of course that Munoz goal. We thought it was over. I'll be honest, it was like a kick in the teeth that, because like I said, we were somewhat back, fighting, and we had opportunities. I thought Doku actually was quite good, and then Munoz he hits in a rebound, and Palace score, and then we're ruled out for offside, and it's a wake up call. Do you know what I'm saying? You'd see it as a wake up call, and it just felt like the players didn't. Do you know what I mean? We didn't respond to it. The City fans responded to it. We got behind the boys, were singing loud and getting behind him, and the players just didn't sort of feed off it, did they? It was a little bit slow, and eventually Pep called on to his subs. He called on to Phil Foden. We see the debut of Claudio Echeverri, which, by the way, what a player. What a little player we've got in our hands here. I know I've seen 15 minutes of him, but I've seen enough already. He should be in the matchday squad on Tuesday as well. I mean that. I'm not saying he's starting, but he made a difference. He made a big difference. I'd go as far as to say he had more impact on the game than Marmoush or Savinho did in his little cameo. He looked lively, he looked raw, and we felt like we needed that. Do you know what I mean? Of course, lack of experience and just hunger and just desperate to make an impact and make a name for himself. And it would have been the perfect moment to, wouldn't it? Imagine that. Your debut, you've been brought in and you've not even been a part of a matchday squad yet. And you're brought off the bench, called upon. And Pep said he's seen enough of him in training to see what he's like in tight spaces, and he felt like he would have been a right fit for the game. And he was right. He did make a good impact. And he had a couple of chances. He was unlucky. Went on to get a yellow card, didn't he? But he was lively, and I was like to see it. I did like to see it. Felt Foden didn't really get into the game, but Echeverri, he was good off the bench. He was good, but it wasn't to be. It wasn't to be, I mean, Nico O'Reilly had a few chances where I just thought, just smacked the ball. He was trying to take it onto his stronger foot twice. It happened, he's in front of the goal. He tried to take it onto his stronger foot both times. I think if that's a more experienced player, it'd come with experience, wouldn't it, in them situations? But I think a different player, even Cavaggio or someone like that, if it falls to them, bang, back of the net. But it wasn't to be. Full-time whistle goes after 10 long minutes of additional time from time wasting. Dean Henderson picked up a yellow card, ironically. He picked up a card in the end. Wrong colour. Shouldn't have been on the pitch. But not bitter. No, the game ends there, and Manchester City lose the FA Cup final. And it was confirmed that we were going trophyless. Going trophyless under Guardiola for the first time since his first season. And yeah, Palace, like I said, the reaction, the response to it, the fans, it was breathtaking, to be honest. It was incredible. Now look, as for full time, there's a few things that happened after the game that I want to quickly touch on. A few things I noticed from a seat, a few things that I've seen from on the train home. First thing I seen on the train home was obviously Pep Guardiola's altercation with Dean Henderson. Not sure what to think of it. Apparently it was over time wasting. It wasn't to do with the handball, but Pep knows himself it should have been handball. Henderson knows himself it should have been handball. I'm sick of it. I'm not going on about it anymore. Enough. But yeah, there was an altercation there, wasn't there? But it was to do with time wasting. Henderson said it, and I've only read quotes of Pep. I've not actually watched the interview yet. I will later on today, but yeah, Pep doesn't really give much away anyway, does he? He doesn't in his press conferences. I mean, he said in his first one, I seen a clip with him speaking with BBC Sport, and he said, "What was it?" He said, "He went nothing." The camera's just been on him arguing, but yeah, it seems like they refused to shake hands, and yeah, fair enough. I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't be shaking Henderson's hand after that ever. And Pep, as far as his decision on the referee, he just says he's not spoke to the ref. He's not spoke to. He kept telling everyone, go, speak to the referee. I don't know. It's not my business. Which fair enough. I mean, when are we going to see referees be interviewed? You know, that's the question, isn't it? That's the talking point. When are we going to see refs interviewed? Surely we will. They've got to take accountability. But this is the thing. They wouldn't take accountability of that. Because as far as he's concerned, well, the VAR's backed him up. The VAR, I've told him, you don't even need to go and have a look, fella. You've got it nailed on. That decision was spot on. Play on. Well done, fella. Take your medal at the end of the game. So what's the point? I'm saying do interviews, but all they're going to do is, if it's the VAR, they're going to cover for the mates, like Rooney said. If it's the ref, they're going to sort of stick by their decision. And even if they don't, what difference does it make? The game's done. The game's done. What help is it going to be? Say, oh yeah, you know what it is. Looking back, I did get that wrong. He should have been off. Yeah, you went to save a penalty and got man of the match, but should have been off. Sorry, lads, I got that wrong. There's no point. I don't care. The point is, I just think you should be suspended. I want to see accountability. I want to see the FA take accountability, but they won't because the VAR, they're all up each other, aren't they? They all want each other. They're all like that. Anyway, the other thing I seen, of course, was Kevin De Bruyne do not a lap of the pitch, but a lap of the City section back and forth, clapping all the fans, and he clearly likes that tifo very much. I thought it was brilliant. And not only just the tifo itself of Kevin De Bruyne with the card, the deck of cards and all the history makers and 100 points and treble and all that stuff. It was brilliant, a brilliant flag, creative. But also the one in front of it that says, the lyrics from Oasis is "Live Forever," maybe you're the same as me. And instead of "we see things they'll never see," which is obviously of course a phrase that gets thrown about amongst City fans a lot. I mean, I don't have a tattoo, but if I was to get a tattoo, I feel like that might be one I get. "We see things I'll never see." We'll have it like a MCFC, okay. Anyway, instead of the words "we see things I'll never see," it said "we won the lot with KDB," and I thought that's beautiful. Of course, the thing is, because I was under the flag, and when they were bringing that over, I just couldn't work out because, of course, the lyrics were backwards. Or letters were backwards. I just couldn't work out what it said. So when I seen it on the way home, I thought, oh, it was lovely. I liked it a lot. A lot. But yeah, Kev clearly was appreciative of all the fans. All the players, of course, claps us. Pep claps us as it always does. But it was especially for Kev. I'm gutted for Kev. I know he said after the game that, look, what we've achieved, he's won 19 trophies in a City shirt, one FA Cup. It doesn't take away from what he's done with his club, and fair enough, it doesn't. I just wanted to send him off with something with what he's done for the club. He doesn't deserve to be going on a trophyless season, does he? He should be going with a Premier League medal or an FA Cup medal. But I think that shows. I was speaking to a Palace fan ahead of the game, and it sort of shows what the difference is between the two clubs. In a sense that I was looking at this game as if to go, oh look, I'd love Kev to get his 20th trophy. I'd love Kev to. Let's do it for Kev. Never mind the fact Manchester City Football Club. I was talking about Kevin De Bruyne as an individual who's already won, God knows how many. Do you know what I'm saying? So many medals. Whereas for Palace, they were just desperate to win a trophy for the club. They've never won one before. So yeah, obviously it's different. It's bigger for Palace than it would have been for City, but it would have been nice for Kev. But he knows he's loved by his fans. He knows he's worshipped, and he knows he's appreciated. And he's shown his appreciation back, which was nice to see. Well, the last thing that I've seen that not many people have gone on about, I don't think many people, I mean, obviously people would have been going and leaving, and I was just hanging about really just because I didn't know what to do myself. I was speechless, to be honest. I was gutted, I was wounded. But one thing I seen was Jack Grealish. A man who, he looks obviously a bit defeated, he looks a bit deflated, which of course all the players would have been, he lost the FA Cup final, but I'd love a penny for Jack Grealish's thoughts. He wouldn't say it out loud, obviously, but he's got to be fuming. He's got to be angry. He's got to be gutted. That he's played a big part in City getting to this FA Cup final. He's not played a lot of football this year. He's not played as much as I'd like him to play. Or, of course, Jack would want to play himself. He's a brilliant footballer, a beautiful footballer to watch. One of City's best on the ball, and I think we could have done with a player like him yesterday. And it was as if Pep picked Echeverri to come off the bench rather than Jack. And as much as, yes, Echeverri, I've said in here, I thought he was brilliant. He had a good impact off the bench, but it says something, right, when you've played every round pretty much, except the quarterfinals. Played the semis, he played all the rounds before it. He scored a lot of goals in the FA Cup, or he created a lot of goals anyway. Created an awful lot of chances. He's played a big part, like I said. And it gets to the final, and he doesn't start him. He doesn't start him in the FA Cup final after what he's done in the build-up. And I thought, that's a bit naughty, that. I'd have liked Jack to start. He should have started. And he didn't even bring him on. He looked at bringing a 19-year-old who's never kicked a ball in the first team. He looked for his impact off the bench rather than Jack's, and I think that must have really wound Jack up. You know, he was doing laps at the bottom, laps of my block, do you know what I mean, behind the net, just clapping and just sort of looking amongst the fans, and I was thinking, I'm worried that he might leave, and I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't blame him one bit, because he deserves better. He deserves better than what he's getting. He deserves better minutes, better love, better appreciation by our manager. Because, of course, I love Pep, you know I do. I love Pep to pieces, but his use of Grealish hasn't been efficient for Jack's career. As much as Jack's won a lot, he's not got the best out of him, and Jack is a fantastic player and deserves a lot better than he's getting at the minute. So, yeah, I feel for him. He should have started yesterday. Should have at least came on minimum. And I'd imagine he'd be really pissed off with that. And yeah, that's that. I think I've spoke about everything really I wanted to speak about as far as this game. I might have missed a few things, but I'm sure I will touch them on TikTok over the next few days. I'll make a few more videos regarding the game, certain aspects of what I talk about, if that comes to mind or that I see online. But yeah, it wasn't our day. You know, it wasn't our day. There was a weird energy in the stadium before it. And then, of course, you know, with that going 1-0 down with Palace's first attack, and then Henderson's not red card, and the penalty miss, and like I said, it just wasn't our day. And like I said, credit to Crystal Palace, you know what I mean, they deserve a club like that, a fan base like that, deserve a trophy like that prestige, and European nights for them lot, so fair play to them. As far as our European nights, I don't want to be in the same competition as them, really don't. I mean, when you take into consideration that about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, I was looking at saying, oh my God, we might finish second in the Premier League and win an FA Cup. That's what a bad season looks like under Pep. Look how good we are. And now we're sixth in the Premier League and I've just lost the FA Cup final. Staggering. So yeah, it was dangerous times. It's scary times. We've got 2 games to go now, Bournemouth and Fulham. And we need to pick ourselves up fast. We cannot perform like that against Bournemouth, because Bournemouth are quite a similar side in the way they play football and where they are in the table and everything. Fast attack, counter attack inside, good defensively also though, compact, good manager. Quite a similar side to Palace, and we can't be playing like that. We got beat in the first game against against Bournemouth, so we can't let it happen again. We've got to win. We've got to win. Kevin De Bruyne's final game at the Etihad as well. Of course, I mean, I'll make a full on Bournemouth preview separate about that. I'm not going to get into that. I spoke. It's probably about half an hour long, this video, isn't it? I spoke enough. Never mind getting on to other games, but like I said, 2 games to go. 2 matches left for Kevin De Bruyne. I'm gutted we didn't finish it off for him in style, but wasn't to be. We'll be back. I think there's going to be a lot of changes over summer, isn't there? A lot of changes. So I don't know what to say. I'm still a bit gutted. I'm still gutted. You know, you make the travel, you make the commitment, you spend the money, and it doesn't feel wasted, but it just feels like, you know, thought it was going to be our day. But look, like I said, Palace deserved it on the day. I hope all fans that went still had a decent day out. Hopefully not too sore this morning. And yeah, that's that. I'm going to leave it there. As I said, tomorrow I'll make my Bournemouth preview. It'll be out tomorrow afternoon. My matchday vlog was out. Sorry, I've just got nothing to think. I need some food now. I filmed this. Obviously, this will be going out 12:30, 1 o'clock. I've just got up, had a shower, got ready. I'm not even eating yet. Filmed it because I didn't want to wait. I didn't want to wait long, and I didn't want to leave it. I wanted to address everything while it was still fresh on my mind, and I still had the proper emotion from it. So yeah, I'm gonna go get something to eat, have something to drink, and I'll love yous and leave yous, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, the matchday vlog is out now. Go give that a watch if you've not already. I'm not sure how it's done. I've not actually checked. Fingers crossed it's done all right. It was a decent vlog. I mean, I said at the end of it that I might have to start taking a mic. I did have a mic that I used to do my previews with, but then I've moved from Samsung to iPhone, and I probably should get a new mic. But even just for like Wembley days or something like that, when I'm away and I want to talk ahead of the game or at half-time or whatever, it's so loud in Wembley Stadium that I'm like this close and I'm shouting down the phone and he's still struggling to hear me. So yeah, probably something I should look at for next time's visit, probably next season's visit, the way that we are. So yeah, wasn't to be. We'll be back. I'll see you tomorrow for Bournemouth. Keep your heads up, Blues. Keep your heads up. I've got to say it to myself. I'm trying to convince myself. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts on everything I've said. And yeah, check out the matchday vlog. Nice one. Come on, City. This is me trying to film my post-match reaction. I'll stick this in at the end. I've got the dog sat all over me here. I'm trying... Look, this is a serious topic, Zach. You know what I mean? We just lost an FA Cup final. What are you playing at, man? Not bothering in the slightest.